that they know that I love you. And don't say, oh, of course they know I love you. I don't know about of course. But what's really important is the non-verbal communications which we are learning from Christ, the true Father. Then there is something called superficial conversation. Superficial conversation is like, for example, did you read the Bible? Did you have a shower? Did you close the TV? Did you go confess? Did you? It's an interrogation. And we think we are communicating. That's not communication. It's called interrogation. Have you done your homework? Who bothers you today? Tell me what happened. If you don't tell me, I'm not talking to you. You have to go inside. The food. What's going on? And then when we ask Mom, can you talk to me? She said, I'm talking to you all the time. But she's not talking to you. She is giving the news. And sometimes Mom and Dad are talking like this. Dad will come, did the kids shower? Did the kids have communion? Did the kids do their homework? Did they have a test tomorrow? No communication between Mom and Dad either. And all what we have at the end of the day is the house looks like a news anchor. Everybody's giving the news to the other one. Like nobody is communicating or conversing. And that's what we say, direct questions. In communications, you should not ask what we call direct questions. You have to ask open-ended questions. For example, if I ask my son, how was the test today? Good. Did anyone bother you? No. Did you take all the 4 sessions? Yes. That's not communication. And the problem is not in the kid. The problem is in me, because I'm asking questions that end up by yes or no. But if I ask, you seem upset today, what's wrong? There is no yes or no. He cannot say no. I didn't ask you, are you upset? I didn't ask you. I'm asking you, you don't look happy today, Habibti. What is bothering you? That's a communication. That's a communication. When I say, for example, I saw your shirt was torn today. I know you have a fight. Let's talk about it. What happened? There is no yes or no. I'm not asking, did you have a fight? No. Who torn your... It fell. 4 buttons fell? Yeah. So, that's not a communication. But if you tell him, Habibi, I knew you had a fight today. I saw your shirt. Let's talk about it. That's a communication. When we stop talking, what happened? When we stop talking, our family deteriorated. Our attachment to each other is falling apart. Let me tell you something I have been very busy thinking about, and everywhere I go I say, I'm not worried about these kids. I'm worried about their kids. I think most of us parents in 50 years will not be here. I will not be here for sure. 50 years. But those young girls will be tatas. Are they going to keep their children here in St. Mary's Coptic Church in Delaware? Or, God forbid, like other churches, they are selling churches. We are not worried about you guys. We are not worried about those who are 7th grade and 9th grade and 10th grade. Your parents are doing a good job. With the grace of God, all of you will be. As one of the church servants, I am worried about the next generation, your children. Your children. And remember, you are facing a fierce fight. America is not the America I knew when I immigrated. So different. There is so much loose relationships that if we do not keep those kids founded in the church, shame on us. Shame on us parents. So no excuses. You know why? Because you will be in heaven saying, God, I have done my work. My grandchildren, not grandchildren, I am worried about 50 years. I'm not worried about 20 years. We will be fine. 50 years from now, Coptic Church may be leading the world in Christianity. That's my thinking. But those are the leaders. So we need to invest in the communications. Because as Isaiah said, oh, that you had heeded my commandment, then your peace would have been like a river and your righteousness like waves of the sea. If we have talked, would have been much better. When we stopped talking, we became distant. I know what's wrong with my daughter. I know why she's sad. I know why mom is crying. She doesn't tell me. I know why dad and mom are not talking. They are not talking to us either. And all of a sudden, the house is becoming a ghost house. People are moving and eating and seeing each other good morning, but they are distant, psychologically distant. Physically, they may not be distant. Emotionally, they are miles away, rivers away, when we stop talking. And that's why it's a responsibility that we must communicate, and we have to learn how. And then when we stop talking, mom has a friend that she's talking to, and dad has a friend he's talking to, and the kids have friends they are talking to, but we are not talking. And then the parents come and say, العيال ما بيكلموناش, they are not talking to us. I'm not sure who to blame. But definitely it's a mutual responsibility. You as my daughter and me as your parent, we must invest, because when we stop, everyone will be talking to somebody else. At least they will be talking to internet or chatting or something, which is the worst type of communication. So that's what happened with Adam, because the man in conversation, dad, for example, I'm going to give you some secrets about us parents. By nature, men don't talk much. I mean, I'm sure your moms are upset from this. Too bad. That's unfortunately what happened. Most men, majority of men, don't talk too much. They will go together in a fishing trip for 4 hours. And then the mom will go, قال لك إيه? Nothing. What did you talk? Nothing. What did you do? Fishing. We are made not to talk much. And that's why, by the way, Eve fell. Because Adam, according to Pope Shenouda, Adam was not talking to his wife much. So she started talking to the serpent. So I want you to know, I want you to know, dads, us, need to learn how to talk. I'm not giving me excuse or you excuses. If by nature we don't talk, if you got children and you got married, you must talk. And I'm telling myself before you, we need to talk. Not because our nature don't talk, but you should have not been married then. If you are married and have children, you must have this type of talent that I'll be talking. Men, by their nature, when they communicate, they minimize. Everything will be fine. No problem. I'll take care of things. Because we are doers. Are practical and doers, so they don't exaggerate. They minimize. Men also get so many excuses because of work, because of fatigue, because of time constraints. And they must have excuses. I'm not saying no. But let me tell dads from now, regardless of how many jobs you have, how busy you are, how important you are, how emergency things depend on you, If you have a wife and children, I'm telling you before I tell you, you must talk. It's incumbent upon you. It's ضرورة موضوع عليا. Because if I don't, everybody here does not know what's wrong with me, and I'll come back to that. And that's what happened with Adam, because the serpent said to the woman, where is the man? No communications. Okay, the woman. Mom in the communication, or the wife in the communication. First thing, she loves talking. And sometimes she cannot stop talking. And sometimes she talks and no one listens, so she's about to explode. Why? Because dad is not listening. We want our phone, and mom wants to speak. And she's very concerned. What happened to you in school? What happened to dad at work? What happened to your brother in this? And nobody's telling her anything. And the poor woman, as a creature, as a creation of God, she loves to talk. And she wants to be listened to. And she will die if people don't listen to her. That's her nature. And we need to learn that. If mom wants to talk, we need to give her time, and we need to listen, and we want her to listen to us. Okay? She also, women in general, I'm not saying your mother, women in general likes to exaggerate, likes to explode things, like to put things into major perspective, extremes language. It's extremely hot. I am so upset. I am grieving over the loss of the vase that was broken. They like to exaggerate. But also women in general in communication, when they fail in something, they don't want to bring it. It's different than men. Men are willing to face their mistakes. Although they may not admit it, but they are willing to face their mistake. Women in general, don't point fingers, because your mom may be the exception of the rule. Women in general may actually don't want to bring the failure, because to them it's a shame thing. And I'll come back to the Samaritan in a minute. It was too much for her to talk about her failures in her personal life. Okay, kids in the communication. They usually don't like to talk. They usually don't like to share. And I'm telling the kids from now, that's bad, that's wrong. And I'll come back why it's bad and wrong. But remember, if I am your dad and I can't tell what's wrong with you because you are so secretive and you don't want to speak up, I may either take a wrong decision or may assume that you are doing something wrong. Both ways you are losing. Because I'll say, oh, I think my kid is an addict. And you are not an addict, you are just angry because you failed a science class today. But you don't want to talk. What do you want me to do as dad? If I see my daughter is crying all the time, and all of a sudden I'm trying to ask her, what's wrong? Habibti, who bothered you? Explain to me what's going on. And you don't want to talk. What do you think as a mom or a dad we should do except say, oh, I think somebody touched her wrong. Maybe somebody spoke to her wrong. Maybe her heart is broken over something. And you are upset because one of the girls that you love very much spoke to you in a very bad way, and you felt very insulted, bullied, but you don't want to talk. What do you want me as mom or dad do when you cannot talk and I see you very sad and angry and upset? So you guys don't want to talk and we're supposed to take care of you. That's not fair. Some kids will say, why should I talk? They will never understand me anyway. And I'll come back when I meet with the kids alone, we will talk about that because there are certain things I don't want to say in front of everybody. I want the kids alone. But many kids will say, even if I talk to my dad, he will never get it. He's in a different, he might as well be in a different planet. And the kids imagine that we are so backward, so out of style, that we don't understand. Although, by the way, your parents may not speak the same exact accents like you. They may not know enough English words like you, but believe me, they have 4 times the experience you have. They claim every 10 years of your life, every 10 years of their life, they have double your experience. So if your dad is 40, he has 4 times if you are 10 years old. 4 times experience more than you. And you can keep adding it up. What I'm trying to say, please don't assume your parents are backward, retarded, nerdy, out of style, don't understand. Try them. Please try them. And I would imagine you will be surprised, because it's the experience in life that you guys are missing. Yes, they may not have a phone like you when they were in your age, but believe me, they know exactly what goes in your life with the phone in your pocket. Maybe they didn't have the crushes that you have today, but they knew exactly how a feeling towards a girl or towards the boy means. They always expect us that we are doing something wrong. The kids are telling us, and they are right, by the way, that we are always suspicious that Matthew, Max, Jessica, whoever your name is, did something wrong. And we are always thinking that I'm just waiting to know what's wrong. And the kids are, I didn't do anything. Remember, but the problem is you also didn't speak to me, so you left me no choice except to guess. If you had been outspoken, I probably would have understood you. So they are always expecting we have done something wrong. At the end of the day, they will do what they like anyway, so why should we speak to them? Parents, listen. Kids are saying we don't want to talk to you guys, because at the end of the day, you are going to do whatever you like anyway. Why should I, let me save my breath then? Why should I bother? Watch out, parents, because if you are like that, and you are going to do what you want regardless of what they suggest to you, don't get upset when your kids stop talking to you. I had this story one time that a young girl in high school, probably was 11th grade, she was almost about to go to college. And one time, I was like her spiritual father, so not from this state, of course. And she came to me and said, I'm so angry at my mom. And her mom was one of the servants, I mean, I know. She said, what's wrong with her? She's such this and this and this. I said, Dad, that's all good. But my mom never listens to me. I told her, what did you say? What happened? She said, my mom gained weight about 12, 15 pounds, but she doesn't believe it, so she's still wearing the clothes when she was 15 pounds less. I keep telling her, Mom, that doesn't look good in you. She said, and the girl feels embarrassed because the dress is about to explode, and she's so upset about her mom, but her mom doesn't want to. So what do you want this girl to do? She will never speak to her mom, because her mom does not think that the daughter, I'm not making problems, right? Am I making problems? مش بعمل مشاكل هنا؟ Okay, مش عايز أعمل مشاكل في البيوت، أنا مروح. No, seriously, parents do not ignore the opinions of your children. When your children wants to give you an opinion about a car or a phone or any idea, listen. They are in a generation their ability to grasp information is far more than when we were in their ages. So do not underestimate their information, their technology. I'm not saying they are experienced. They are completely inexperienced. And kids, do not think you have experience. The experience in those moms and dads sitting here. But you have knowledge. I have no problem with that. As a mom or a dad, I should listen to you because I'm going to do an exchange of information. Exchange of information. Kids in the communication, they feel there is a big culture gap. Just His Grace was just talking about many states today, not your church is much better than many other states, that there is a huge culture gap. Not just in the language, in everything. In everything. And of course the kids don't want to talk because, sorry, I feel I'm coming from a different planet. Whatever I'm talking about, you're not even close to what I'm saying. I'll tell you something very interesting. Dr. Nabil Bai, may God give him many years. Many of you don't know, but I'm sure Sayyidina Nabuna knows him. Dr. Nabil Bai is the uncle of His Holiness Pope Theodorus. He was one of my mentors. When my kids were young, my kids now are married, he used to come to New York and give us family retreats. And now it's over maybe 20 some years, and I will never forget this story. At that time, he has better health and he was able to drive. He used to tell me, if my son has a football game, I study everything about the game the night before, exactly as if I'm giving a Sunday school. I will know who is playing with who, how much is the player, who is the agency, who did penalty, who will be playing first, who will be stand on the stand line. And then I sit with my son in the car and I tell him things. My son opens his mouth and said, wow, you know all of this? How did you know this, Dad? And they become so friendly in discussion that the gap is so small because the father came down and he exacted himself to his son and he started talking about things. His son felt, wow, you know all of this. How many of you know J. Lopez, and how many of you know the new album that Shakira is bringing? How many of the parents know these things? But if you don't know, they know. And if they don't know, and if they know and you don't, they will not talk to you. By the way, I'm not saying you have to share in the bad things. But when you know what's bad, you can say, don't listen to any bad music. Okay. You didn't specify what's bad music. Is all music is bad? Is any non-Coptic music is bad? That's not fair also. That's not fair. There are plenty of amazing pieces of music you can listen to. But when you say that, and you say, all of these singers, by the way, many amazing Christian singers have beautiful words. I'm not saying we should, this is Coptic identity. The liturgical prayer is the most important prayer. But some of us like to listen to some of this. If you know nothing about this as a parent, and your child is coming to you to talk about a very bad singer, you should have told her, why don't you go to Golden Crowns? They have a very nice new album, and the song about the crucifixion is so good. Let's hear it in the car. And all of a sudden you replace the bad music of whatever her name is with a nice music at the same level. They are in the eyes of your children. You have put an equal thing. You tell her, I want you only to listen to Golgotha. And if you cannot listen to Golgotha, you listen for Epithronos. وبس. There are kids that they cannot do that all the time. And they are growing in a culture different than ours. Gradually get them into liturgical prayers, liturgical singing. But it's okay. If they have to listen to worldly music, replace them. But if you know nothing, Who is playing what? Who is doing that music? If you don't know that there are issues with certain group or certain this, then the distance is far, ya jama'ah. Please, I am telling you, it's your responsibility. 50 years from now, this church must be filled. His grace, myself will not be here, but we'll be watching from up. And we want the church to be filled. It's parents' responsibility that you must make your kids good men, good women, so when they become tatas and ghettos, they are righteous people. They grow people in God's fear. That's the challenge the Coptic Church is facing today. When we talk to each other as family, as man and a woman, as mom and dad, we can understand each other and we enhance the love, we increase the understanding, we close the gap, and we can make common decisions. One of the bad things men do, take decisions without telling their wives. That's not a communication. That's news agent. We did this, we're going this tomorrow, so when the kids are communicative, I know what goes in their lives. How many parents today, 100% know what goes in the lives of their children? Don't answer, but talk to yourself. Do you know everything about your kids? And why not? Are they talking to you or you don't have time? And when they talk to you, do you leave everything to listen to them? Or there are more important things in the phone or in the remote control or whatever? There is nothing more important than your daughter coming to tell you, Mom, I want to tell you something. You put off the stove, you leave the soup, you leave everything, you leave your phone off, and you sit and you listen to your daughter. Nothing more important. Believe me, if you don't regret if she finds somebody else to talk to. When we talk to, when you kids talk to us, by the way, we increase our experience. Please talk to us. I'm telling the kids. When you girls and you boys talk to me, dad or mom, my experience increases. My knowledge increases. I go to work and I'm more enlightened because you told me something. I can go and appear that I know what goes in America. So please talk to us. Because when you talk to us, I am aware of what goes on outside the church and the bubble that I'm living in. You are my ambassador. You go to church, you go to school, you go to games, you go to club, you go to many things. I don't. So please talk to us. Talk to Abuna, talk to the servants, talk to mom and dad, because when you tell us, we learn more. How many of the parents know what is the health curriculum in Delaware? I don't know. Did you ask your kids? Do they take in 7th grade health curriculum? And what is in the health curriculum? Kids, please tell us. Because if you tell me, for example, they are talking about homosexuality and transgenderism and all of this, that's good for me as a parent to know, good for me as a servant, as a priest to know, because I can help you. When you come to talk to one of us as a parent, we are aware of all the struggles you go to. So please, kids, do not keep your knowledge for yourself. We want to learn from you. When you kids, I'm saying kids by the way, but in my eye, you're going to be youth very soon. When you guys talk to us, the gap is smaller. Gap smaller. Why did Christ took Peter, I'm going to make an imagination. The day of resurrection, he took Peter like this and walked with him in the shore. Well, Peter, do you still love me? Why did he do that? Because 3 days ago, Peter did very bad thing and he was very upset of himself. He said, I don't know the man. And he cursed and he said, I know who is Jesus Christ. So Peter was sitting like this. He doesn't want to face Christ. Would Christ say, okay, he doesn't want to talk to me? I'm not talking to him. No. As a parent, he took him and told him, Simon, do you still love me? Although if you are really right, the language should have been Simon asking Jesus, Jesus, do you still love me? I'm the one who made a mistake. You are asking me. But that's how parent-child work. Do you still love me? Do you still love me? Do you still love me? Yes, Lord, I love you. Go and serve and attend my sheep. Khalas, no problem. Finish. So we close the gap. Can you imagine if Jesus did not want to do this? I don't think Peter would have made the Church of Rome. He made the Church of Rome because he felt that Christ accepted him. We need to close the gap, guys. Yes, we do many mistakes to you, boys and girls. But please come closer. Because when you do, we can be less distant. When you talk to us, we can take common decisions. Rather than I make a decision and say, we are going to Ocean City in the summer. Okay, I reserved already. And then, Baba, you never asked me, but Habibti, you did not also talk to me where you want to go. Common decisions. We are going to buy a car. We are going to move from this house to another house. We are going to talk to each other. What is the benefit to the kids? Number one, you understand what goes in dad's head because dad does not talk much. But if you sit next to him, Dad, why do you want to move to another state? And he said, oh, Mama told you? Yeah, but why you want to go? My friends are here. My church is here. So he started telling you, Habibti, I didn't want to go, but I lost my job here, and I had to go. Wow, sorry, Dad, I didn't know. Look at what happened. A simple communication made the daughter understood what dad is going through. But if dad doesn't speak at all, and you do not speak to your dad, the movement would have done, and you would be very angry. Now, you may go, but you would be less angry. You would be upset, but you would be less angry because dad had to do something. So please, benefit your dad, benefit your kids by you talking to the kids. When you talk to your kids' mom and dad, you increase their experience. I want to tell you something about moms, by the way. In my opinion, and I'm saying it as a man, as a father, moms have very, very good alert system. They have a sense, I'm not sure which and where in their body, but they have an alarm that they can tell, حبيبتي خلي بالك البنت دي هتتعبك. And you tell, come on, mom, every girl. But believe me, moms know. Wives know. When a wife tells her husband, watch out, don't be in organization with this guy, don't put your money with him. 5 years later, you'll find your wife is right. Don't tell me how. She may be less educated than you, less experienced, but moms know. So the benefit to the kids, when your mom tells you, I am a little concerned about this friend of yours, can you be a little slower in the relationship? Don't be too, going all the time and spending all the time. I'm a little concerned about this kid. Listen to your mom. That's a benefit to you. I cannot tell you why or how, but I think it's a blessing that God gives the mothers. All our mothers, by the way. All our mothers, regardless if you are in my age or your age. Moms have something from God. Please listen to them. Don't underestimate them because, oh, mom doesn't speak much English, but she knows better than you. When you speak to your kids, again, the gap is closer. When you speak to your kids, the responsibility is bigger. I want and I wish our communication becomes without mask. I don't want that. I'll tell you something very upsetting to the kids, because I work with a lot of kids all over. Mom has a breast biopsy tomorrow. In the houses, nobody's talking. Tomorrow I left the sandwiches for you because I'm leaving very early. Why, Mom? No, just the sandwich and there. And Mom doesn't want to talk. She's afraid to cry. And Dad, why Mom has to go up 7 o'clock? Oh, no, nothing. It's just the car, you know. And then she goes, have a breast biopsy. And thank God everything is fine. Oh, I had a procedure and everything went fine. The kids hate that. I'm telling the parents. The kids hate it when you guys think they cannot understand responsibility. I'll tell you a very good lesson. If you tell them, Habibti, Mom is having a biopsy tomorrow. Let's pray together and put her name on the altar, and I'm sure everything will be fine. 2 days later, the biopsy is negative. Thank God, because of your prayers, Mom is better. Which one is better? Which one they learned something from? Responsibility. They have to learn responsibility. How good is being secretive? Middle Eastern loves to be secretive. I'm a cancer doctor. I get 4 people in the room, and the woman has cancer. And they want to take me outside. It's against the law, by the way, that I'm going to give her radiation and chemo, and she doesn't know. How? And by the way, when you talk to her alone, she knows. She's not stupid, she knows. But she's okay, I'm fine. I'm trying to tell you, please. I hate it, and I'm sure Abuna Sayyidina Arfin, when somebody, God forbid, dies, and he never told his wife about anything in his life. And he needs to be, God forbid, to be taken care of. She doesn't know the bank account or the password, or nothing. Why? He doesn't want to add to her responsibilities. Why? We are one body. The family is one body. That's how God sees us. Please, guys, if you build the responsibility in your kids, they will be good men and good women. And they will know the power of prayer. But if you shield them from all of this, they will feel very little. And they will never felt that they are part of you. When we communicate, it may start that somebody is upset of something. Like one of the girls would say, Mom, it was a hard day today. As soon as I went to the school, I didn't know there is an exam. Taban, Mom should not say, I told you before you have to. She started talking. Oh, but really, there was an exam. Maybe you didn't remember. Yes, Mom, I forgot to remember. But thank God I did good. But then, and she started talking about how bad the day went. Listen, she is complaining about her day. Don't jump in and say, you should have done this. You should have done this. Okay, I know I should have done this, but even us, you should have not stopped in the stop sign. I know I made a mistake. Talk to me. Don't jump on me. It may start by the excuses or the event or the concerns. Sometimes the communication, by the way, is just a love, embracement, hug, touches, cries, wiping the tears, communication. That's communication. If your daughter start to speak and then start crying, she can, if she wants to speak, she would have, by the way. It's not like, مثلا, I think I'm going to cry as soon as he asks. She didn't do that. Just take her in your arms, طبطب عليها, kiss her, and wait until she speaks. That's the communication, and that's what Christ does. It may start with dreams, expectations, or achievements. It may also result in somebody is venting. I'm going to finish. What time are we finishing? 7? Okay. So I'm going to finish. Let me just get. I want to end with this slide. Okay. What is the bad things we can do in communication? I'm going to enumerate them, and if you have questions about them, we can go through that later today. One of the bad things when we communicate, when we don't focus. We are moving from one direction to another, and math and science and church and confession and Bible and car, and we're not focused. And then when we keep interrupting. Number 3, when we are tough, we are angry at each other. It makes the other one doesn't want to communicate. Even mom and dad together, man and woman, kids and dads. 4, when unfocused, we manage. When we make fun of each other, like dad will say, "Really? Does ever seen a Christian girl does this? Why do you have to say that? Just tell me the benefit." I'm going to stop. Just tell me what is the benefit of you mocking your daughter. Nothing. She will just stop talking. 6, when you stick to your opinion and you don't want to change. We are going to Ocean City, we are going to Ocean City. I mean, just an example. When you do not listen, you are just distracted and you are look like listening, but you don't know what she's saying or he is saying. When you as a kid or as a parent use your authority without explaining what's happening. When it's an interrogation, not a question. When you are not using the right expression. I'm going to take 2 minutes if you don't mind. There is something called al-atab. The English word is a little tough. It's called reproach. If you have to reproach your daughter or your son, please use what Christ used. Encourage first. I know your works. أنا عارف أعمالك وتعبك وصبرك ولي عليك. They call it sandwich technique. في حاجة طرية، في bread، في something tough, and then bread. But if you overcome, I will give you the white stone. So encourage. Don't mention 10 bad things all of a sudden. Just mention 1. Start with I, not you. I would love to see you a major teacher in your school. Not, you are disgracing me. Conclude with encouragement. Start with encouragement, end with encouragement. In the middle, 1 mistake. Not 10 in the same day. Doesn't work. And the same, by the way, kids talking to their parents. By the way, parents, we love encouragement. You guys think that we love when you say, "Mom, thank you so much. You were great today when you went to the family meeting, to the parents meeting. Dad, thank you so much because you took me to the basketball. It meant a lot that all the kids saw you taking me in your beautiful car." We love being encouraged, by the way. Don't think you guys only need to be encouraged. Do not make fun or being sarcastic of the person. I'm going to stop here because I want to respect the time, and